Have you ever thought about who the most terrifying Death Eaters in Harry Potter really were? What if some of them were even more ruthless than Voldemort himself? In today's video, you will find out the darkest secrets of the most notorious Death Eaters and how they left their mark on the wizarding world. Many witches and wizards followed the Dark Lord when he declared war on Muggle-borns and those who opposed him. The most loyal, powerful, and cunning among them received his mark and became Death Eaters. The first of their kind emerged from Slytherin students who studied alongside Tom Riddle. Later, others joined their ranks, drawn by power, fear, or a twisted sense of loyalty. Some of these dark wizards committed acts so monstrous that they surpassed even their master in cruelty and madness. Today, we will dive into the chilling stories of the most infamous Death Eaters.
Avada Kedavra.
The Lestranges. Bellatrix Lestrange, her brother-in-law, Rabastan, and her husband Rodolphus were among Voldemort's most devoted followers. Bellatrix, the most fanatical of them all, remained loyal even in Azkaban, where she lost her mind in captivity. When she escaped, she became the Dark Lord's most trusted warrior and fought for him until her last breath. Rodolphus Lestrange, Bellatrix's husband, took part in the brutal torture of the Longbottoms after Voldemort's downfall. He was one of the few Death Eaters who survived the Battle of Hogwarts and later sought out the Dark Lord's daughter, revealing a prophecy that could bring him back. Rabastan Lestrange, Rodolphus's brother, was just as ruthless. He played a key role in Death Eater operations but met a humiliating defeat at the hands of Ginny Weasley during the battle in the Department of Mysteries.
Igor Karkaroff.
Once a devoted Death Eater during the First Wizarding War, Karkaroff betrayed his comrades to escape Azkaban. He exposed many of them, earning temporary freedom, and later became headmaster of Durmstrang, where dark arts were openly practiced. But when Voldemort returned, Karkaroff fled. The Death Eaters found him. They made sure his betrayal would not go unpunished.
Augustus Rookwood.
One of the Death Eaters Karkaroff exposed, Rookwood was a master spy, secretly working within the Ministry of Magic. Unlike the more flamboyant killers, he was a ghost in the system, manipulating events from the shadows. He played a key role in the battle inside the Department of Mysteries. Even Kingsley Shacklebolt couldn't defeat him. During the final battle, Rookwood struck a fatal blow, killing Fred Weasley after taking down his brother Percy. Barty Crouch Jr. A prodigy in magic, Crouch Jr. had a bright future, until he turned to Voldemort. His loyalty was unmatched. He betrayed his own father, escaped from Azkaban, and orchestrated one of the most brilliant infiltrations in wizarding history. He single-handedly overpowered the legendary Auror Mad-Eye Moody and manipulated the Triwizard Tournament to bring back his master. He was also one of the rare few who could resist the Imperious Curse.
Lucius Malfoy.
A wealthy aristocrat and influential figure in the wizarding world, Malfoy was among Voldemort's earliest followers. He secretly planted a Horcrux on Ginny Weasley, setting dark events in motion, but after failing the Dark Lord in the Department of Mysteries, his status crumbled. No longer a trusted lieutenant, he was humiliated, demoted, and forced into disgrace. In the end, he abandoned the Death Eaters, realizing there was no future for his family in their ranks.
Antonin Dolohov.
One of the deadliest Death Eaters, Dolohov was Voldemort's personal executioner. A master of combat magic, he blended raw power with brutal efficiency. Even Bellatrix and Snape struggled to match his skill in battle. Ruthless, relentless, and feared by even his allies, Dolohov was a weapon Voldemort wielded when he wanted destruction without mercy. Corbin Yaxley. A pure blood wizard from an ancient line, Yaxley was a key figure in Voldemort's takeover of the Ministry. He manipulated events to install Pius Thicknesse as Minister for Magic, securing Death Eater control over the wizarding government. A master of dark politics, he shaped laws that stripped Muggle-borns of their rights and fueled the reign of terror.
Severus Snape.
Straight out of Hogwarts, Snape swore allegiance to Voldemort. Perhaps at first he truly believed in his master's cause. As a student, he had been lonely, ridiculed, yet brilliant. The Dark Lord saw his potential, but Snape made one fatal mistake. He told Voldemort about a prophecy that led to the murder of Lily Potter, the woman he loved. After that, Snape became a double agent. To Voldemort, he was a trusted informant at Hogwarts, but in reality, he served Dumbledore, waiting for the day he could atone for his past sins. These were the most notorious Death Eaters, each playing their part in the Dark Lord's reign. Some thrived in chaos, others met tragic ends, but their stories remain among the darkest pages of wizarding history. The Dark Lord fell, but did his influence truly vanish? The Battle of Hogwarts marked the end of Voldemort's reign, yet whispers of his ideology still echoed through the wizarding world. Fear lingers, prejudice remains, and somewhere in the shadows his followers may still be watching. Draco Malfoy, once a proud Death Eater's son, walked away from that life. But could he truly escape his family's legacy? My father will hear about this. He once spat at Harry. Lucius Malfoy had spent years teaching his son about blood purity, instilling in him the belief that Muggle-borns were beneath true wizards. Even after the war, Draco carried those scars. He distanced himself, but the Malfoy name remained tainted. Some doors in the wizarding world never fully closed. Not all Death Eaters perished or were imprisoned. Rodolphus Lestrange vanished after the war. Unlike Bellatrix, who fought to her last breath, Rodolphus disappeared into the unknown. Years later, a rumor surfaced. He had found Voldemort's daughter, Delphine. She was young, but her mind burned with the same hunger for power. "The world will kneel before me," she whispered, convinced she was her father's true heir. She wasn't content with stories. She wanted a throne. The Ministry of Magic tried to erase the past, but fear isn't so easily erased. The wizarding world had seen what happened when blood supremacy took root. Yet years after Voldemort's death, pure blood families still gathered in secret, keeping his ideals alive. The Knott family, the Rosiers, the Carrows, they may not have carried the dark mark anymore, but their beliefs didn't vanish with it. Even Hogwarts bore the scars of the Dark Lord's reign. The dungeons of Slytherin whispered the same old words: mudblood, filth, disgrace. No matter how many times McGonagall spoke of unity, prejudice remained. "You'll make your real friends in Slytherin," the Sorting Hat had promised generations of students. And some of those friendships led down dark paths. Years later, a young wizard named Scorpius Malfoy would question his family's past. Unlike his father, he didn't carry the same hatred, but suspicion followed him everywhere. "He's Voldemort's son," students whispered. They feared him, not because of who he was, but because of who his family had been. The sins of the past were not so easily buried. The Ministry cracked down on dark magic, but darkness finds its way through the cracks. Borgin and Burke's still operated in Nocturne Alley. Forbidden texts still circulated in secret. Some spells never truly died. "There is no good and evil," Voldemort once said. "There is only power, and those too weak to seek it, and power always tempts." Then there were the Whispers, a hidden group, a gathering of wizards who still spoke of the Dark Lord in hushed voices. They weren't as reckless as before. They had learned from the past. No dark marks, no open violence, just quiet influence, spreading through the highest levels of the Ministry, twisting laws in their favor. No longer Death Eaters, but something far more dangerous. Even the Muggle world wasn't untouched. For years, wizards had hidden their conflicts from non-magical eyes. But technology was growing, surveillance cameras, satellites. What would happen if a Muggle caught sight of dark magic? if one of Voldemort's old followers decided to finish what he started? Magic and secrecy had survived for centuries, but could they survive forever? The Dark Lord himself was gone. His Horcruxes were destroyed. But history had proven that dark wizards always return. A new name, a new face, a new voice whispering in the shadows, promising power to those willing to listen. The question was never if another Dark Lord